Hello and welcome back to another tier list video. I am Phill.
I'm Vicky.
And this is in celebration, if you're watching these as they're coming out, for the Abridged Big Knickers 10 years week.
10 years!
Building up to a live stream on Friday. Yesterday, we ranked all the 3D Zelda bosses, and that was quite a long video, I think.
Yeah, well, there is a lot of bosses.
There is a lot of bosses. Today, we're moving on to Banjo, which is, something we know bits and pieces of.
Like bits and pieces.
Little bits and pieces. And we're going to be doing the worlds for the first list, and then we've got the bosses for another list, just because these should be slightly shorter than last time.
Well, you never know until you start talking about them. Let's wait and see.
We might get into a massive argument.
A massive debate about Banjo.
Yeah, I mean, it could happen.
There's been worse debates.
So this was the tier list I found for the main worlds. It does exclude the hub worlds, so it doesn't have the Isle of Hags or Grunty's Lair on here, and it doesn't have Cauldron Keep. So what I was going to say before we start is I think both of the hub worlds are S.
Yes.
Because I think Grunty's Lair and Isle of Hags are superb. Their music.
Their music, the environments, the way they link everything up. I mean, they're just on par, aren't they? They're exactly what the game needed to link all the worlds up, and they have such a lot of character in their own right as well.
Yes. Cauldron Keep I'd put maybe as a A or a B. Like, it's fine, but it's not very big.
Yeah. A.
Yeah, because it's got good environments, and it's like it builds like the hype for the final battle. And
also it has good music. Like, let's be honest, that's going to be the same.
That's going to be a big. Yeah, I was going to say all of these I think have good music.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get on with some lists. So this is in the order from. It looks like it's already in the order of like how you encounter them in the games. Mm-hmm. So if we start with Mumbo's Mountain, the first.
So personally, A or S for me. I just think it's the best first level to start off with. I think there's loads of different areas. I love the first transformation. But then again, this is going to be hard because I think a lot of it's going to feel A to S. You need to kind of compare them more objectively. So,
yeah,
how are you feeling with Mumbo?
I think Mumbo is definitely more an A than an S. An S, in my view, is like there could be nothing better than it. It's like the best version of itself. So there's some already that I've got in my mind as S, but Mumbo would be an A.
Okay, fair enough. Then an
A. Treasure Trove Cove.
What are your immediate thoughts?
I do like this level. Obviously, it's where you get flight. The shark's really annoying, but obviously he's kind of a necessary part of game design.
Well, yeah, and it stops you from trying to explore too much into like the outspreads of the game, doesn't it? I think that's the whole
it's
point
kind of
of
like
it.
A natural deterrent to stop you from getting to the edge of the map that you probably swim to otherwise.
I think the shell's pretty cool, and that the sandcastle that's hiding underneath the water. I mean, that's how you do all your cheats throughout the entire game. And how to get there in the first place through the treasure chest.
I'd say another A.
Yeah?
Yeah. We're just going to end up with all of them up in these top two, aren't we?
Yeah, I think, well, we might have, once we put them initially in, I think we're going to have to revamp being a bit more objectified. So let's just go with our first initial feelings.
We're going to have to rename these like A, A minus, A minus minus. Just to make it so it's like, no, we like them all, but we just like these ones more. I'm
liking the list better. The list from the last video we just did. Maybe we like an A++.
I like where they write it in.
Yeah.
As well into these. Makes it very easy. Like, you can tell someone actually put some time into like putting this together. Clanker's Cavern.
Again, enjoyable. But would you say it's on par, worse, less than like Mumbo's Mountain and Treasure Trove Cove? Because I'd say it's potentially a B.
I was thinking potentially a B. Like, the intro to the level is quite difficult for a new player because you have to raise Clanker, which can be quite difficult.
But the idea of going into Clanker as well is very interesting. The gold feathers isn't one of my most favourite items or abilities to learn, and that's of course quite a big player in that level.
And whilst Clanker does make the level bigger, it doesn't feel quite as like... It's just those 2 main rooms with a few extra bits, and then you go inside Clanker.
Nothing special. So yeah, B.
Bubble Gloop.
I really like Bubble Gloop Swamp. I think it's adorable. With the turtles, and with like the creature that you can turn into, with the crocodiles and stuff. I think it's adorable.
I really like it.
Yeah.
It's still one that I'd put as an A though.
Yeah, not quite an S. Looking through the list, I've got at least one that is an automatic S, and I think it's the same as yours, so we'll have to wait till we get there.
I already have 3 that are automatic S's.
Yes, so I really want to know what the other 2 are.
So, the first one is Freeze Easy Peak.
It's an S.
Yeah.
With the snowman, and the Christmas tree, and the polar bear race. I mean, you have to come back, don't you? Once you've learned certain abilities. And the fact that he comes back, doesn't he? He's a recurring character.
Boggy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you ride the sled down the scarf to like knock the jiggy out of him.
And when you're flying around.
Yeah, it's just a really fun level. Obviously the theme is more Christmas than it is winter, but
Yeah.
I think it is one of the more iconic. I mean, obviously you could say Mumbo's Mountain is iconic, but I don't know. Freeze Easy Peak is one where I just really, really enjoy it.
Well, I suppose Freeze Easy Peak, in comparison to Mumbo's Mountain, really commits to the theme more. I mean, each level does commit to the theme, but there's certain ones that just commit a bit more. I mean, ants. I mean, Mumbo's Mountain, I'm not really sure where I was going with that, apart from maybe like an ant hill. But Freeze Easy Peak, as you said, it's Christmassy, it's winter, everything down to the seal, down to the polar bears, it's all committed to the bit.
So would you agree with an S?
Go on then.
Gobi's Valley.
It's not one of my favourites. It's all right.
I don't dislike it. It's fine.
It's like another B maybe, because there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not one of my favourites.
I do like how there's different puzzles in different pyramids. That's the one thing I'll say. That over Clanker's Cavern, where it's just inside Clanker and it's mostly just rotating blades,
well,
Gobi's Valley has a lot of variety in its actual pyramids.
Maybe Clanker's needs to be C, because I don't think Gobi's Valley's on par with Bubblegum Swamp and everything like that.
I'd be happy with this.
Mad Monster Mansion, I'd say that's a Clanker's Cavern one. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. It commits to the theme of Halloween and stuff like that, and the fact that you get to be a pumpkin and go down a toilet. Why not?
See, I'd still put it above Clanker's. I'd put it on par with Gobi.
Would you? Yeah. Okay, that's fair enough. It's definitely not on par with Mumbo's Mountain.
No.
Rusty Bucket Bay, again, I'd say another lower down one.
I'm really in 2 minds, because Rusty Bucket Bay has obviously the engine room, which is one of the most frustrating rooms in the whole game. Especially if you're playing the original N64 and you lose all your notes because you die.
And personally,
it's a very frustrating level because the water obviously is double air as well.
And personally, if you think of the aesthetics of the game, I think so many other levels, such as Freeze Easy Peak and Mumbo's Mountain, they just look so much more attractive. This one, even though it's not supposed to be attractive, it's supposed to be like a shipyard and stuff, I still think they could have been a bit more imaginative. Like, if you're thinking of Hat in Time, The Cruise,
yeah,
that was very imaginative in comparison to Rusty Bucket Bay. But I suppose it is a rusty bucket. I don't know.
C.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go like this because I still think it's better than Clanker's.
Fair enough. Click Clock Wood is an S. Is an S.
I knew it. That was one of my 3 as well.
Of course it is. It's Click Clock Wood. It's freaking amazing with the seasons and the doors and how they update each tree to each season, and there's certain things you can do, certain things you can't do to do with the characters and the extra, like finding jiggies and stuff. It's amazing. I love it.
So this is Banjo-Kazooie done.
Any you'd wiggle, or are you pretty happy with that list? Would you say Clanker's Cavern needs to be a D if you think Rusty Bucket Bay is better?
I think because there's less of these than there are bosses, we can actually do some actual ranking within it.
Oh, so okay.
I'm just gonna do like...
Click Clock Wood is better than Freeze Easy Peak, yes.
So I think this is how I'd rank the levels.
Okay. So
Bear in mind, I want to stress, I enjoy all the levels.
We do. We love them. They're so good.
This is still like
it's good to be objective. It's good to be objective.
Otherwise, we just stick them all in S and call it a day. You know, that's
that'd be the most boring video ever.
It'd be very quick. It'd be like 30 seconds, like S. Join us tomorrow.
The end. Clanker's Cavern. Do you think that deserves to be bumped down to a D, or are you happy with just that ranking?
I think we'll look at it again at the end.
At the end. Okay.
I think that what it's good to do is use all the ranks, even if you're saying they're all good. Just to, like, put them in their different tiers. But I want to see if we want to put any of these in D first.
No. You've still got another S coming up, don't you?
I do. I wonder if you can tell what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Mayhem Temple.
So this is the introductory level for Tui.
I don't think it's as good as the introductory level to Banjo-Kazooie.
No, there's a lot more you have to come back and do later.
It commits to the theme. It really does. If we're calling our B like our average, if you think of the way,
it's B.
Yeah. So
would you say it's better than Mad Monster Mansion?
Yes.
I'd say that.
Yeah. Not quite as good as Gobi's Valley. No, I think that's the way we have to look at it. Our D is like our rubbish. Then C is kind of
is passable.
Okay. Then average, good, and super.
Yeah.
Super. Glitter Glutch Mine.
I do like this level. It's got a lot of sub areas which can be quite fun to explore. And
it's a kind of a hub world for a lot of other levels. Like you can get into Witchy World, you can get into the train.
You can get into Pterodactyl Land.
Yeah, it's one of those hub levels.
You can get into Pterodactyl Land, can't you? Or, I know you can get to Pterodactyl Land from Witchy World.
Yeah, I don't think it's. Yeah, I think
the train.
This one just goes into Witchy World.
Yeah.
And you get the train in this one. Wait. No, you don't.
Obviously, we're going to do the bosses separately, as much as he is the picture for it.
He is awesome.
I would say A above Treasure Trove Cove, but beneath Bubble Bloop Swamp.
Yes. Is Witchy World your other S?
It is.
I know.
I would put it in the middle. I'd put it there. No, there.
Yeah, because I was looking at them. Witchy World is iconic. Now, that's the one I was thinking of. That is a hub for all the other worlds. And they really commit to the funfair experience.
The sub-areas are like worlds in themselves.
Yes, and they all link into the overall funfair feel of it. The fact that you've got the bears from before. I do love the reuse of characters. I think that's really good.
Yeah.
Jolly
Roger's Lagoon.
See, I'm never a big fan of water levels.
But I think amongst water levels, this is if we were ranking just water levels, it would rank highly.
Yes.
Because you do the spell at the beginning, so you don't have to worry about air.
Yeah,
if you've freed Royston or whatever his name is, the goldfish.
Yeah.
You get to do your A and B at the same time, and that swimming is pretty fast. The submarine is fun.
The submarine is fun. Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of water levels, so I'm thinking B or I'm thinking B.
I was gonna say it's definitely not a C.
It's not a C, no.
It's
better than Mad Monster Mansion. Is it better than Mayhem?
I'd say better than Mayhem Temple. I'd say possibly it is the King of B.
King of B. Yeah. Okay. Pterodactyl Land, I think, is a S or nearly S. I really enjoy it.
Interesting. I was thinking A.
Well, I'd say high of the top of the A's
it's
or the
of the
low
A or
of the
bottom
S.
Of the S. Yeah.
Because I absolutely love it. I think the fact that you change into the same animal, but the fact that you can make the animal bigger, so you can be a small T-Rex, you can be a big T-Rex. I love how it links in with the fire and the cavemen and really commits to the... And I love the layout as well. I think the layout's pretty cool.
Yeah.
High A?
High A, I think.
King of the A's. Grunty's Industries.
Industries.
I don't think it's bad. Again, just want to stress how much we love all these levels, but I think it's more the Rusty Bucket Bay and the Clanker's Cavern.
The thing is, when you first play it, it is just a difficult level to get your head around because you're inside for most of it and the floors aren't laid out very intuitively.
No, there's no map. It's a bit confusing. You can't really put until you're the actual washing machine.
Yeah,
and then
you
that
can't
does
use
help
the
a lot.
server's elevator, and you do. I think replaying it recently, it was just just do each floor in turn, but then that wasn't a very interesting way to discover a level either. So I would put it as I'd put it under Clankers though. I would literally put it there.
Really? You think it's worse than Clankers?
Clankers at the very least is not, you can't get very lost.
No, I suppose not. Whereas that one is not only, I do find it interesting. Our 3 lowest ones so far are the least attractive looking
like
ones.
the industrial ones, they're like the grimy ones.
The grimy ones, and they needed to be in there, they really did, but compared to how imaginative and colourful and engaging the other ones is, yeah.
No, I
Hellfire Peaks is an A or S.
I was thinking that. I think that would be the one that I call a low S.
A low S. Under Freeze Easy Peaks, definitely. But I love the fire and the ice side. I think it's great. I think it was a really good balance.
Yeah, no, I think the fire and the ice is really cool. The 2 dragon bosses are cool. You've got obviously the return of like your stony matches. You've got the 2 train stations. You've got obviously the boggy stuff comes back.
Awesome.
And it's just
aliens
it feels like a massive world as well.
Yeah, it feels because you got the aliens as well, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Cloud Cuckoo Land is the only colourful one I think that belongs in C.
I'm going to say something very controversial here.
Uh-oh. Ah! Yeah! Because it's so random.
It's just
so
stuff.
Random.
It's just random stuff on a map.
They just...
Like, there is fun stuff in it. I don't dislike the level.
No.
But as going back to our top 10 of season 2 video we made for Big Nostalgia.
Please check out if you haven't already.
I'll put a card here. What's this? 18-minute mark. I'll put a card in. But as we said in that one, to do the Mr. Fit, you have to jump over the bar, but then he moves to that next bit, and to get to him, you have to hatch the egg of the floaty thing, find the seed, then fly over as Banjo with the floaty thing, plant the seed, then Mumbo waters the seed, which grows the beanstalk, then you have to climb the beanstalk just to get to the race.
Yeah.
It's just so much faff, and it's just stuff scattered on a map, so
it's not...
That is the only one I'd think is D.
It's not just the fact that these are... The ones in C are the most dull looking of them. You can have a nice colourful level. It's just that Cloud Cuckoo Land just feels like the area... The makers of Banjo-Tooie had all these great ideas and they really wanted to put them together, but they had no idea how to link them as a world. So they're just like, let's just name it Cloud Cuckoo Land and put them all together haphazardly together on a floating cloud. And that's what you've got.
And there's only... And it's... You have to... Well, at first it kind of prohibits you a little bit from flying. Obviously, then you can fly freely, which makes it alright, but... Then there's only 2 warp points as well for quite a big level.
Yeah. It's not as big as, say, Hellfire Peaks, but it's not as, doesn't feel as, I'd say Glitter Gulch Mine, it feels a little bit smaller, so...
I think Glitter Gulch Mine and Hellfire Peaks at least feel, full, whereas it feels quite sparse, Cloud Cuckoo Land.
Yeah. No, I'm saying, how big it is to how much is actually in it.
Right, okay,
Yeah. Well, that is our list. Is there any we want to wiggle round, or are we pretty happy? I mean, we've got one in the D now, and Clanker's Cavern isn't it was our worst one out of the first lot, but it's definitely not the worst one overall.
No.
And I'm really glad Hellfire Peaks made its way into S, because I really even if it's the low end of the S, I really enjoy that one, and Pterodactyl Land.
Yeah.
But
no, I agree with this.
But Click Clock Wood, it's just sometimes I feel like just playing through Banjo-Kazooie just so I can play that level.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a reward before the end.
Yeah, you're just like, if I get this one more jiggy, then I can go to Click Clock Wood, and then I can start doing that one. Yeah. No, this is our list. Please comment below if you agree with our list, if you put them in different order, if you disagree with the Cloud Cuckoo Land as being D. Please let us know in the comments.
Yes.
But now we're going to move on to our next Banjo themed list, which is the bosses.
So some of these I'm not sure I would even consider them bosses because they are so like
random
minor.
Minor. But I suppose they had to boost it up a little bit, I suppose, because there's not
because
many
Banjo-Kazooie
bosses.
doesn't have many bosses.
No.
So like for example, the first one is the bees. I think they're called the Zubbers. Or the buzzers. Like they just charge at you, don't they?
Yeah, I'd put that as a C or D. They're really not that big a deal.
To be honest, a lot of the banjo bosses are going to be quite low down because I don't really consider them proper bosses.
Yeah. What about
Outside
the two?
of obviously the main one.
Yeah. What about the two fire and ice dragons? The two dragons.
I'd put them as A.
Yeah. Not superb. Like not.
They're not the best of the best. But they're fun.
Yeah, and they're very
and
memorable.
You're using cannons and stuff to like shoot them in the face.
I mean, it's the same sort of, you use fire on the ice one, you use ice on the fire one, so it's not exactly hard to work out. But they have good characteristics and they link in with the world and stuff. Everything else is kind of like mirrored, so it made sense to have a fire and an ice dragon. I can't see the next one.
Hag 1, it's the tank, final boss of Tui.
It was alright.
It's not as good as Grunty, the final boss of the original.
So what, C, B? I'm not thinking A.
Really? I thought it had a nice variety of phases to it, but I did find it a bit annoying at times.
You can put it
I'd
as
say
A.
B.
B?
Actually, let's say it'd be
Low
bottom
A.
of A. Low A.
Low A. Under the dragons.
Yeah.
Right.
Klungo?
I want to put him as high. I want to put him as like A on an S because he has such a character to him and all the different levels. Like you kind of use the different potions and he kind of just follows you over the two games. And I think he becomes so much more in the second one because of these battles.
Yeah. So
I think he's a good feel-good guy. I'd say he's a low S or maybe a high A. Yeah, low S. But I think he's great.
I think there's going to be bosses that are better than him.
Oh yes.
But for
we
a
haven't
boss
got to that yet.
You literally can't avoid. He's not too bad.
No.
Like
and
and it's random, I think, as well, which order you get his potions in.
I think he's a good character. I like his like dynamics in the game. The fish.
Lord Woo Fak Fak. I think this one
not really
is
bothered.
a bit of a difficult one because it depends if you do it as a submarine or do it as Banjo-Kazooie. I think as a submarine he's a pretty easy boss.
As a banjo, it's a bit harder.
Yeah, because you have to actually worry about running out of grenade eggs.
No.
B. I don't think he's too bad.
Yeah, go on then. B. Right, Evil Mumbo. I think he could have been better than he was. I think he wasn't bad. I can see where they were going with it, but he's not one of my favourites.
Yeah, like I like the concept possibly more than I like the boss battle.
Yeah.
So I'd put him maybe above the fish in B.
Yeah. Mr. Patch. I want to put Mr. Patch as an S.
Yeah, that's fun.
Because even though he's not like a main boss or anything like that, he just had so much. It was just so much fun, and like it was very simple, but it was iconic. And yeah, I want to put him as an S. Same with Chuffy. Chuffy has to go as an S.
You want to put him as an S? I was going to put him as like a B because
really?
He's so easy.
Oh,
he's
then
so
A. Middle ground A.
Yeah, that's middle ground A. Above Hag 1?
Yeah. I like Chuffy. I know he's super easy, but I think I'm thinking more of the characteristics and how they like build into rather than the ease of beating them and stuff. And I just think that does play into certain bosses after doing the Zelda ones as well.
Yeah. Target Zan, I'm going to put as a C.
Yeah, I wasn't that bothered. I was not that bothered.
Yeah. Terry, I quite like Terry as a boss.
B, above the fish.
I'd say B above Evil
Skull.
Mumbo.
Yeah? Okay. What's the next one? I can't see.
That is the Grunty's Industries boss. You can't see its head in this, but it's like the flame torch.
Oh, the one that looks like a Hoover.
Yeah.
Nah.
I'd say maybe B, but below the fish.
Yeah, agreed.
I think Target Zan is really one that I just don't enjoy doing. Whereas him, I don't mind, but he's not memorable.
Agreed.
Muty Snippet, again, this is something I wouldn't really consider a boss.
So, is that the crab?
That's the mutant crab that you fight in Clanker's Cavern.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's not really a boss. He's a bit of a laugh, though. I'd say he's above the Mayan one in C. I wouldn't say he's bad enough to be a D. He's a bit of a laugh. Now, this next one can be a D. He can be a D. It's a box that explodes.
He's better than the bees.
Yeah.
But he's just a box that splits into 2 boxes, splits into 4 boxes, splits into... And if you've got enough golden feathers, you can just stand there and just kill him in like 10 seconds.
Yeah. Right, the monkey needs to be high A.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's one where I wouldn't really consider him a boss.
Yeah, it's really easy as well, but I think he's great.
Shall we put him between the dragons and Chuffy?
Okay. Grunty has to be an S.
Yeah, Grunty
she is really hard.
Grunty is
top dog.
I'm putting as number 1, yeah.
Yeah.
It's potentially one of the best boss battles. It's really difficult, but obviously the Ginginator and stuff like that. It's really good. And now you just got Crab.
Again, I quite like the crab. Would you say potentially B? Would you say it's better or worse than Terry?
I put between Terry and Evil Mumbo.
Yeah. If that's like average. And then what's the last one?
So these are the frogs that you fight in Bubblegloop Swamp. They just you just rock up to one of the islands and they're like, we're going to attack you, we're frogs, and you're like, okay.
D. But above the bees.
The
bees. Yeah, in the box. The bees stink. They're rubbish.
Yeah, so this was a lot quicker doing the bosses, I think, because you either like them or you don't really.
I mean...
Is there any that you'd wiggle?
I mean, the monkey, looking at it compared to all the others, potentially is too high. I really enjoyed it, but it wasn't even a boss. Maybe it just needs to be bumped down to B just because it's not really a boss.
Like that?
Yeah.
This is almost like the average point, isn't it? And then everything after it, I think, is...
Whereas Chuffy and those fire ones, at least, and the hag, at least they were a boss.
Yeah. And
but
they
the
had,
monkey
like, character to them.
Yeah, the monkey and the crab, I wouldn't consider as a boss. And I consider them really easy, but they had so much character compared to...
Based on how we're doing these levels, I think I'd go like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Because this is where you get into, like, average territory. And Terry is better than average.
Yeah, but he's not top of A.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with that list.
Yep, me too. If you agree, let us know in the comments below. Let us know about the levels, how you would rank all of these. And I think that's the second tier video. Would you agree?
I would agree.
Join us tomorrow where we'll be looking and ranking some other stuff.
Please come and check us out. Come and check us out.
Check us up.
Check us up. I've been Vicky.
I've been Phill.
See you next time. It really was. Bye.